Hello viewers, welcome back. In this session, we are going to discuss about social and emotional development during early adulthood. Now, so far we have been discussing about so many changes, so many developments across early adults. But now today we are going to focus more on the various social developments as well as the emotional developments. Now, when you are thinking about social developments, it is the one person who can be remembered, that is Erikson. Erikson is the one person who has been rigorously worked on the various psychosocial developments of personality from the beginning of infancy to old age. Hence, here it comes the most important virtue or the most important period during early adulthood, that is intimacy versus isolation, the most important phase of any early adult. So, apart from Erikson's theory, the social and emotional changes can also be discussed by many other theories in this particular session. Also, identify different close relations. We also need to have close associations with our family members, with the workforce and many others in our society. Therefore, how we form relations with others is an important concern as part of social and emotional development. The diversity of adult lifestyles, how we get our education, how we meet people, how we establish our relations, how we get into a right career is also a great importance. Therefore, the diversity of adult lifestyles are also discussed in this particular lesson. Early adulthood is a particular stage of life which emphasizes on human relations, career and marriage and many other social activities which are of utmost priority. Now, in this chapter, the various phases of life cycle are discussed. The life cycle here means the moment the individual completes education, also works or sometimes gets married, have children and also plans for the retirement. Now, this is the various series of life events that can be discussed under the family life cycle. Now, young adulthood is particularly a very interesting area where love, affection, friendship and also loneliness is of most important concern. And most of you are in this particular age group. Therefore, the romantic relationships, friendships and also loneliness is one of the most important crucial factors that plays a vital role in their social as well as emotional development. What happens is when many of these young adults finish their schools, they mostly get into jobs, especially men. Men are the first particular gender group who basically get into early jobs, whereas for women it is of dual role conflicts, whether they can go for work or they have to get married and bear children. All these factors play a vital role in girls' life. Now, so far the social development is concerned, it changes across the individual's life period with regard to his interest, with regard to his career, with regard to his social relationships. But the emotional development factor remains stable across the individual's life, and it all depends on their life experiences. Let us discuss about Erikson's theory, and we are going to discuss about one particular factor, that is the intimacy versus isolation. Now, these are the two psychological conflicting factors in an early adult's life. There are people who are very intimate to each other. At the same time, there are people who are isolated. Now, who are the people? How can we identify people who are having intimacy? Or how do you identify a person who is isolated? These are very two different characteristics. Now, there is a conflict between these two also. Intimacy can be understood by having a close relationship between two individuals, whereas isolation, it is different. It allows an individual to be far away from group, to be far away from individuals. They do not have liking companionship. Now, when you look at a person, how do you observe that this person is having a very good intimacy relationships with his colleagues or with his family members? Now, people who are intimate, they are cooperative, they are tolerant, and they accept of differences. Whatever may be the differences, they are ready to accept the differences of their other members. Now, they can also accept to be alone without being fear of loneliness. Now, if there is too great sense of isolation, now there is a problem for them because they fear of forming close relationship with the individuals. Now, these are the people who are more competitive than cooperative. People with high intimacy are very competitive in their particular skills. If there is successful resolution of this conflict in their life, they are able to solve their problems very effectively. And these are the people who can go further into the generativity related activities in terms of child rearing, in terms of education, in terms of property accumulation, etc. Now, after Erikson, there is another person who has conducted a few research on the individual, especially with the lifespan. This theory is called as Levinson's seasons of life theory. Now, his theory was based on in-depth interviews conducted on men and women with a particular age group, that is 30 to 45 years. Levinson believed that there was significant changes with tasks inherent to each one. He believed each stage began with a transition. Now, this is a transition period that lasts for about 5 to 7 years, which is a stable transition period. Now, during this particular period, a person builds a life structure. How do we understand the meaning of a life structure? Life structure is the design that an individual dreams to prepare. That is, what is the relationship with his friends, what is the priority in his life, what is the career that he would like to pursue, the career that he would like to choose. All these factors are coming under the umbrella term life structure. How do you design your life? Whether it is in a productive way or whether it is in an unproductive way, it is all dependent on the individual's life experiences and the individual's education and other socio-economic background. And it was found that early adulthood is the time of greatest energy, contradiction and stress. Now, it is also a time of intense satisfaction as a person charts his or her own course in love, sexuality, family, occupation, setting life goals, etc. He needs to make a lot of decision making processes with other people, and often without adequate life experiences to make solid decision making. Therefore, they need to be very clear with their life structure. In continuation with the life structure, it is also important that we all dream. Yes or no? Do you dream? And sometimes we remember our dreams, sometimes we do not remember our dreams. Similarly, especially in this particular age group, dreams are very, very important role. They have a very great role to play. Let us see how. Now, most people construct a dream. Now, this dream is an image of themselves in the adult world that will guide their decision making process. The more specific the dream, the more motivating it is for them to fulfill or complete the dream. Now, there is a gender difference. Can you identify what men dream of or what women dream? Now, it is understood that men dreams are more individualistic in nature, and it often entails with the success in terms of business and career. And even in their dreams, if they include women, it is as supporters of their goals. But for women, especially the career oriented women, they have split dreams, that is including both marriage and career oriented dreams. Women's dreams usually define self in terms of relationship with others. Now, we have understood that there is a difference between the dreams of male as well as female. As part of a dream, how will you understand that a dream is fulfilled? not just because dreaming about a concept will fulfill our dreams or needs, but it is always important that a mentor is facilitated along with our dreams. So, who is a mentor? Mentor is an elderly person who has rich experiences about life experiences, occupation related. Therefore, if the dreams and mentors are equally combined, then there is a fulfillment of the dream that we are dreaming about. Now, age 30 is a transition period among the early adults. It sometimes can be a crisis situation also. Let us see how. This period serves as a time to re-evaluate the life structure. Now, it is always important, as young adulthood is a very long period in the entire lifespan. It is very important that they have to re-evaluate their life structure. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Who are my companions? Who are my real friends? Whom should I trust? All these factors can be re-evaluated in an individual's life. Especially this is possible during early adulthood. If the person is still single, sometimes even after 30s people remain single, they are more focused on their career rather than marriage. Now here it is the men who are more oriented towards their career, and it is women who are more oriented towards the home needs and the needs of the children. Now it is especially crisis situation if the woman is unable to meet the required amount of goals to fulfill the family as well as work. Now this is a crisis situation for the women. Also, sometimes it is a real crisis if neither relationships nor occupation is successful for the individuals. Therefore, it is very crucial period of transition. We have to be very careful in choosing a profession or making a decision. Age 30 or especially young adulthood, it is a settling down age for men. Now, how do you understand by settling down age? It is the establishment of the individual's choices in terms of career, in terms of work establishments. And now men who are achievement oriented or successful oriented, they are the one who would strive to work hard, attain skills, and also they try to make or possess certain properties in line with their values, family system, and also the property that they accumulate. But for women, it is a continued instability, because the role of a woman is multiple. She has to play the role of a wife, role of mother, and also a working woman. Therefore, it is a continued instability for women. Sometimes women also drop from their work because of the increasing responsibilities to take care of children or elderly parents and also the in-laws. Therefore, it continues to be an instability period for women. It is very interesting to understand that there is a social clock that is being followed across the individual's lifespan. Now, the social clock is the age graded expectation or the life events that the individuals experience, especially first job, getting married, having children, buying a house, retirement, etc. But seriously, off time can affect the self-esteem of women. Now, let us see how. Now, women who followed a feminine social clock, what do we understand by feminine social clock? It is nothing but marriage and childbearing period, which can be categorized under feminine social clock. Whereas, in this particular feminine social clock, the women were more responsible, they were having self-control, they were tolerant, they are caring, but it was observed that their self-esteem was declining, because as they go into more caring and looking after the others, now they develop a sense of self-esteem that is declining. They understand that their self-esteem is declining day by day, and they felt vulnerable as they aged. Now, the increasing age among the feminine social clock indicated a decline in the self-esteem. Women who followed a masculine social clock. Now, masculine social clock is the early career development among women. Now these are the women who are more dominant, sociable, independent and intellectually effective. Women who had not followed a social clock, that is, who have not got married, who do not have children, or who are not in line with the working occupation related. Now these are the women who develop self-doubt and feel incompetent and also lonely. Now in this particular topic we are discussing about the various components of love and the theories of love. In early adulthood, close relationships require finding a partner, building emotional bonds and learning how to engage in a relationship. Now the romantic love entails finding a partner to share one's life and dreams with it. It enhances the self-concept and also the well-being among the individuals. Now selecting a mate usually means finding someone who have a similar interest, similar attitudes, similar background, similar socio-economic background and similar interests. Now it requires some physical proximity. When you want to like somebody, when you want to love somebody, it should be geographically near. You should be able to see the individual regularly physically. So therefore, so that in order to develop a meaningful relationship, most partners also share attitudes, education, IQ and attractiveness. It is understood that generally people of similar interests tend to like each other and they tend to have more satisfying relationships. Now there is a differences between men and women's values in terms of their traits. Now what do men value about? What do women value about in terms of love? Let us see. It is found that women weight intelligence, ambition, financial security and moral character higher than men. And it is observed that in men they weight physical attractiveness higher than women. Also women value emotional commitment and financial security as higher than men. Men look for traits of youth, fertility, sexuality, good health, which are most important that men consider in women. Men also want to move quicker into sexual intimacy than women do. Now very interesting theory that talks about love. There is a theory called the triangular theory of love developed by Sternberg. Here he talks about three components: intimacy, passion and commitment. Now intimacy has to do with emotions of tenderness, warmth, concern for others and the desire for partner to reciprocate. Passion is a sexual component as well as romance, the physical arousal component. The third is the commitment, which is the cognitive component. We will discuss further about this. Passionate love is the love that includes the beginning or the rapport establishment, the courting, the sexual attraction part, and it declines as the partner is more known. The second, the component is the companionate love. The companionate love is formed with intimacy and commitment. Without intimacy and commitment, the individual cannot establish a companionate relationship. This includes warm, trusting affection and often caregiving. The solid long-term relationship can be understood that it is because of the companionate relationship among the partners. Now it is very important that this companionate love should continue to their last life. The commitment which I have talked about is the cognitive factor or the cognitive component. Now the communication of commitment requires warmth, forgiving the individual, sensitivity with feelings, acceptance and respect towards each other. Now the greater expression leads to higher quality relationship. if one of the partner has committed any mistake, it is very important that he or she should be able to express it so that they have a high quality relationship. Now, this includes positive, constructive conflict resolution. Now, you must be able to analyze now which component of love is more important. Of the three aspects of love, intimacy and commitment are the most influential components in the particular components of love. Another important aspect is friendships. In our social world, I would like to ask a question: do you have friends? Definitely 90% of you might be saying yes. Yes, we all need friends. We all need to share our feelings. We all need to share our knowledge, and also we need to be with each other. Therefore, the role of friends are very, very crucial in an individual's life. They offer affirmation, friends accept us, and also they support during our difficulties. Friendships are usually take place similarly with love, but though they are considered under the same background, that is gender or socio-economic backgrounds, interests and attitudes, sharing of deep feelings and needs among the friends. Now, I would like to put forth a question to you that does friendship often dominates marriage? If your answer is yes, yes, it is true. Sometimes we tend to share our feelings to our friends rather than to the one who are married, or the one I cannot talk to my husband, but I am more comfortable in sharing with my friend. So, therefore, friendship has a major role to play than in a marital relationship. Now, who are our friends? Can you think of who is coming into our mind? Yes, there are different people around us. Now, individuals of the same gender, women and women. Now, it is often understood that women tend to be with another woman, they try to discuss about problems, but similarly with men. But men are the one who don't like to discuss, but they would like to share and be sharing with a particular sport or so. Sometimes not only women and women, it is also observed that there is opposite sex friendships, that is male and female friendships, and this also depends on the cultural factors whether a boy and a girl can be friends or not. Another important criteria of friendship is the siblings. Do you have brothers and sisters? If yes, you are the most fortunate one, because our siblings are the one where we can be more closely associated with them, where we can share our feelings to them, and even the research indicates that people having siblings do have a very good mental health. Loneliness is another important area of concern, because it is unhappiness. How we can observe a person who is alone. At the same time, loneliness is the unhappiness that results from a difference between the relationships. Now, it can relate to an absence of a love relationship or friendships. It peaks during late teens and early 20s as people are making major life changes and adjusting to new environments. Now, certain life conditions tend to be responsible for being lonely. Can you think of what are our life conditions where people are alone? People are alone when they are separated. People are alone when they are divorced. People are alone when they are widowed. Now, out of the gender comparison, can you think of who feels more lonely, whether male or female? Now, if a male is not involved in any love relationship, now it is indicated that men feel lonelier than women, and certain characteristics related to loneliness, especially people who are shy, people who have fear of self disclosure, people who have poor self evaluation, who are insensitivity to others, and people who do not like to share their feelings. Now, on the contrary, the positive side of being lonely is creativity. we can develop creativity, we can develop new skills. Now we are going to talk about the last part, that is the family life cycle. Now under the family life cycle, it is very important to understand that there are certain factors that are responsible in an individual's life and which are very crucial in the social world, that is parenthood and singlehood, childlessness, divorce and remarriage, career development. All these factors are coming under the family life cycle. If you talk about parenthood individually, it is indicating that parenthood is a crisis situation, especially if the couple are having the first child. Now women with more traditional identities usually choose to have children, and women with egalitarian identities or approach, they would like to choose the career as most important rather than children. Now what happens if they don't have children, or the disadvantages of having children? The disadvantages of having children will include loss of freedom, burdens, financial burdens, and being tied down. And the positive side of having children is the warmth and affection, the fun we get from children. Singlehood is another important family life cycle. Now singlehood can be defined as the one who is not living with a partner and has increased particularly among the young adults of today's scenario. Now in the age groups of 30 to 34-year-old, 30% of males and 20% of females are single. Some people chose to be single as part of their lifestyle. The childlessness occurs when a partner has fertility problems or the couple marries later in life. Another important family life cycle is divorce and remarriage. Many people, many young adults are divorced, but at the same time the remarriage doesn't occur among them frequently, and it is being observed that men who are divorced tend to remarry again within 4 years of their divorce rather than women. Women do not consider remarriage as important in their life. And very interestingly, it is noted that women are twice as likely to initiate divorce as men. Now the consequences of divorce are very, very serious for all who are involved in it, even extended families. It represents a loss of dreams, lifestyles, and replaces that with greater financial hardship. All alone the women or all alone the man have to earn, and then parenting responsibilities and self-doubt. Definitely, who is going to help me, how am I going to earn, all these questions definitely put self-doubt in the individual. Both men and women display a lot of emotional problems, especially depression and anxiety. Now we have come to the last part of this session, that is the career development, which aids in establishing a secure life and also a satisfying job life. Now as adults with satisfying work develop skills, sense their accomplishments as positive, make friends and feel more financially dependent and secure. Men enter their careers much earlier when you compare with women, but women have more discontinuous career paths, as we have discussed in the earlier slides, that it is mostly instability for women. And those people with fear of failure will tend to set lower goals for themselves, and mentoring is another important factor that I have been discussing. This makes a difference in a long-term success in an individual's life. Therefore, have mentors in life. Now, combining work and family, this is such a difficult task. Therefore, the dual career marriage is very, very challenging in the adult lives, particularly for women who carry so many role responsibilities. The research has indicated that there is a strong link between stress, poor marital relations, poor parenting, which in turn develops child behavioral problems, which are very, very crucial. It is particularly a problem for people in poor paying jobs with fewer options about child care and time offs. Let us conclude this session. as we have discussed many problems and the various issues related to social and emotional development in early adults. Now, we conclude that this period is a very crucial period in terms of establishing relationships and also living with a comfortable life structure, as we were discussing about the life structure, which includes the design of an individual's dreams and mentors in life, building a positive and intimate relationships which can further lead them in terms of the Erikson's model, that is the psychosocial development model of personality, where after the conflict or after the psychological conflict, let us consider it in a positive way, that is the intimacy, and then further go into the generativity progress.